2 events remain in the second season of the Trio Marble Championship, and only 5 teams can still win heading into this one. It's Twilight Tailors, Lilac Lightning, Freezeburns, Sparkling Stars, and the Camos, but the event is curling. Each team will take turns sending all 3 of their marbles down the track. The goal, of course, is to have the most cumulative points and end the closest to the button. As I said, only 5 teams can still win, but I'll keep you up with championship permutations as the event advances because 14 teams can still podium. There you see the scoring. It's 5 points if you land on the button, then 3, then 2, then 1 for the outer ring. Here's the example run. So, as I said, 14 teams can still podium. That's everybody except for the Plasma Stripes and Scientists because the Freezeburns sit in 3rd place with 98 points. That is 32 points back from 1st place, but you only need to be 40 points back from that 3rd place mark to be able to podium. And for the most part, everybody is pretty close in there. You look at the championship, and really it is a 5-team race up top. Polar Panthers and Hummingbirds are just outside of it. Ferocious Flames a little bit lower, but everybody else pretty much is in that 70 to 60 point range. And with 2 back-to-back gold medals, pretty much anybody could end up on the podium if things go right. Of course, that would mean the Freezeburns would have to score very little points, and it comes down to how likely is that. You can see in this example run, teams tend to either bounce off of other marbles or bounce off of the back wall because of the amount of speed they have going on. So that'll be a strategy to keep watch for. Do you want to head off to the side if possible, or do you want to go down the middle and maybe try and make the opponent either get tricked into taking a different strategy, or I don't know. We'll find out what the predominant strategy is here. It's the Wolf Warriors and the Camos in the first heat. The Camos are the lowest team that can still win. The Wolf Warriors are the lowest team that can still podium, so a lot to play for both teams here. The Wolf Warriors will start us off, and they curl all the way out front. I don't think anyone's going to hit them, or obviously I don't think they're going to score any points all the way over there. The Camos would need 2 golds and a lot of things to go right for them if they were to win it all. They're sitting on 90 points. They are the lowest team that can still win. A gold here would get them 110. They would still be 20 points off of the win there, so they would need the Twilight Tailors to go pointless, and then they would win off of medal count by having 3 golds compared to 2. That second marble for them curls out front, does something similar to the Wolf Warriors. They don't want to disturb their own marble, who is currently sitting in that 2-point ring. The Wolf Warriors would love to disturb that marble, and they do, but it only curls them in even more. They now both sit with 2, and the Camos just have to avoid hitting themselves. Oh, and they cannot do it. And that final marble for the Camos will end their season short. They will not be able to go into the final event able to win. They could still podium, of course, Wolf Warriors, hoping that they will still be able to podium after this event, but it will not be enough points for the Camos. And their fans are devastated, coming off of an amazing Event 10, to go scoreless in the first heat. Their momentum has been shattered. The Red Rogues and Electrolytes are out now. Electrolytes sit 12th, Red Rogues are 11th. Whoever loses will be out of the podium for sure. Whoever wins might have a chance if everything goes right. By that I mean they would need probably the Freezeburns, Sparkling Stars, and I guess the Camos are already out. They would need those 3 out in the first round. They would also need poor performances from the Polar Panthers, Hummingbirds, Ferocious Flames. It gets a little bit complicated when you're in that 12th too. I would say anywhere outside of the top 8, so Magmatics down, they would need a lot of things to go right. Electrolytes have a little bit going right for them right now. They have 1 in the first point ring, and it gets curled to the middle, and that might be on the button. They just have to avoid themselves, but as we saw, the Camos had problems with that earlier, and so do they. But they will win off of distance on a 0-0 draw. What a result for them. So the Red Rogue season is over in terms of medaling on the overall podium. They still could go into the final event and play for a medal there. They are one of 2 teams yet to medal. It's them and the last place Scientists. So they've been consistent but have never had a medal performance. Electrolytes have a single bronze. They're hoping to double that or perhaps get a better performance in this one. Is the Magmatics and Team Antimatter. Both of them, again, could still podium. Antimatter sits in 13th. Magmatics sit in 9th. It would be a lot easier path to the podium for the Magmatics, but as I said earlier, that's when it starts to get complicated because the gap for them from 9th to 8th is 9 points. So up to the Ferocious Flames, they would have to leapfrog a bunch of teams in that middle range if they were to podium. They were very close to podiuming in Season 1, could not do it, but did manage to qualify for Season 2. So far they lead, 1-0. 1 marble left for each team. They do not have the pressure of the hammer, the last marble to go. But they still hit off of themselves, and we've seen that happen time and time again, so all Antimatter has to do is score. Can they do it? They won't, but they will win once again off of distance. A 0-0 draw. Magmatics can no longer podium. Antimatter would need a miracle, but they are still technically, as of now, in contention because of the teams that have advanced. Magmatics would have loved an overall podium to redeem themselves after last season. Did not go their way. They sit in 9th. How far will they fall? We'll have to find out. Plasma Stripes cannot win or podium. Polar Panthers are 6th. They are the first team that cannot win, tied with the Hummingbirds. Of course, the home fans are devastated, but they are still happy that they are in the running for a medal overall. They very easily could get a bronze, and they are still one of the teams that are in contention for 2nd overall, technically. If they were to win 2 golds, I believe you need 81 points, and so everybody in that Ferocious Flames, Hummingbirds, Polar Panthers, Camos range. Well, the Camos did not advance here, so they are technically out of it right now. But a good start for the Plasma Stripes, and the hosting Polar Panthers will have to fight back if they want a chance at a silver overall. Currently, it looks like they will not be able to get that. 1 marble for each to go. And the Plasma Stripes, good offense there. And that may end the medal hopes for the Polar Panthers, unless a miracle occurs. A miracle will be hitting that bottom marble and curling back in. Can they win off of distance? It'll be close. But it will not come to fruition, and the 6th place team will not remain in medal contention, I doubt. The Plasma Stripes, again, coming into this, they are the 15th overall team. The majority of their points coming from a single silver medal, and they have upset the hosts of Season 1. Dash the hopes of the hosts of Season 2, the Freezeburns and Lilac Lightning. This is the most important match of the tournament. Lilac Lightning sit in 2nd place, Freezeburns sit in 3rd. The Twilight Tailors will be watching this intensely, and they will be cheering for the Freezeburns, not only because they are both new teams, but because any points the Twilight Tailors can get on the Lilac Lightning will help them. And the Freezeburns are currently winning. If the Lilac Lightning were to lose here, and the Twilight Tailors won, and if they were to go on a run, if the Twilight Tailors medal here at all, they would win the season before the season is even over. They would win heading into Event 11, unless the Lilac Lightning can do something here, and it doesn't look like it so far. 1 marble apiece. They're either hoping the Freezeburns mess it up for themselves, which they do here, and now all of a sudden Lilac Lightning is winning off of distance. They would have to try very hard to mess this one up. They don't even have a marble in the house currently, and they don't need one, but they get one anyway. The Lilac Lightning shut down the title hopes of the Freezeburns, and by them advancing, the Sparkling Stars can no longer win. It's a 2-team race, which we expected, but now it is finalized. Freezeburns' season is over in terms of winning overall, and the Sparkling Stars, who are yet to compete, have just got the news broken to them that they can no longer win, and they are devastated. Winfinity and the Hummingbirds both can podium. Winfinity sitting in 10th. Hummingbirds in 7th place. They are tied with the Polar Panthers at 6th. They would head into the top 6 if they beat the Polar Panthers here. All they would need to do to accomplish that would be to get points. Let's see what they do with their first marble. Ends abruptly. Actually, it's going to curl back into the 2-point zone. I don't know if that was on my end or if that was for everybody. It looked like they were going to stop right away in that 1-point zone. Nonetheless, they double that and now have 2. They avoid their first marble with their second, put another one. Actually, this one's going to be in the 3-point zone. It's 5-0 currently. And a good offensive play there to make it 3-3. 1 marble left for the Hummingbirds. What'll happen? They avoid both. They're going to try to curl in, and they will stay. Another abrupt stoppage, but this one is in their favor. It's 4-3, and that would have been the decider. Actually, maybe it'll come down. It would have came down to, the distance from the button, but we can't see that from this angle, so that is huge for the Hummingbirds. Obviously that means Winfinity can no longer podium, but it didn't look likely for them to do that anyway. Again, that top 8 is really what counts. Scientists sit in last, Ferocious Flames sit in 8th. The winner, of course, moves on. A lot on the line for both teams, though. For the Scientists, it's really their dignity, because They have not had a great season at all. For the Ferocious Flames, it's a potential overall podium in that third place slot. Now that the Freezeburns are eliminated, that specifically is raising their odds. Sparkling Stars, if they advance, could end that discussion, but for now, all of these teams in that mid-section still very much have a chance at podiuming. They clear themselves out, but they do hold on to 1 point. Actually, that curls in for 2 and then curls back out for 1. But they're in a more advantageous spot that might have been strategic. Because look at that, they were able to avoid getting hit there. 2 guards out front for the Scientists. That left side is locked down. Well, right for the marbles, left for the marbles on the button, who are looking to see what happens. 1 marble to go. And unless they score points here, I doubt they're going to knock the marble out, and they will not be able to. They did not have enough momentum. The Ferocious Flames move on and keep their podium hopes alive. Scientists would have loved to advance there, but they have not had a lot of things go their way this season. Ferocious Flames fans, however, they are enjoying themselves. The pressure of winning overall has been taken off the team's shoulders. Now the fans are just happy that they are able to compete. They would love a good performance, but, if they don't get one, they're not going to be distraught. Heading into the final 8, the final heat is the Twilight Tailors and Sparkling Stars. Again, this is a very important heat. If the Twilight Tailors win here, the tournament may be over before the final event. In terms of who wins, of course, the final event will still take place. Gotta be careful with my wording there. The Sparkling Stars could put to rest all the speculation about who takes over that third podium spot if they advance here. Lilac Lightning would love for that to happen. Specifically because it would mean that it would be a lot less of a point gap they would have to worry about heading into the finals. Sparkling Stars are leading here. A good offensive charge, but they cannot hit that middle marble and instead have to try to push their own marble in a little bit further. It does not work, however. 1 marble to go for each team. Sparkling Stars clear themselves out. With the season on the line, could that be the move that ends it? 1 marble to go, and unless there's some self-sabotage here, there will not be. The odds have never been higher. The Twilight Tailors, now with a huge chance to win this tournament, but the Lilac Lightning are still alive, and the hope for their team remains alive alongside them. The two of them might even face off in this tournament. Imagine the spectacle that would be. We saw a brief glimpse of the title race to come in that final heat of the Snow Moguls, where they were both too focused on each other and both let it slip away. But now it'll come down to the two of them, and it is not possible for it to slip away there. Magmatics will get 9th down to Red Rogues, Winfinity. The bottom 3, however, are the 5th, 4th, and 3rd place teams. So the podium race is once again wide open. The Wolf Warriors, I believe statistically, they are eliminated now due to the Hummingbirds and Ferocious Flames advancing. But the Electrolytes have a few points on them, and I don't think they're out of this race completely yet. Again, they would need probably 2 golds to secure that podium spot. But even at this stage, not even really looking at overall podium, just if you get into a 4th or 5th place performance overall on the season, you get a lot more respect. Wolf Warriors have had that respect because they have finished on the podium before. They got 2nd in Season 1. Electrolytes have never really had that. They've never really been at the top of the standings. They won the qualifiers, but besides that, they don't have much to their name. And really, a qualifiers win with the 4 best teams up to that point sitting out. Well, Polar Panthers weren't one of the 4 best statistically. It would have been the Magmatics, I believe. But you know what I'm saying. Electrolytes, maybe a passing of the torch here. Wolf Warriors, now guaranteed they will miss the podium. Electrolytes, their chances remain alive against all odds. And it really is against all odds when I say that, because what are the odds that the Freezeburns, Sparkling Stars, Camos, and Polar Panthers, the teams from 3rd to 6th, all placed in the bottom 5? It happened. Electrolytes fans know how lucky they are, and they are excited. They're excited at the prospect of heading into the final event with a chance. We don't even know if they will, but they're excited nonetheless. Plasma Stripes and Team Antimatter, this might be the lowest stakes match, because they're really only fighting for a medal in this tournament. Neither can still podium overall, let alone win. But both teams with just 1 medal, actually Team Antimatter, yet to medal. I believe I misspoke earlier and said it was just the Red Rogues and Scientists, but that's how consistent that Team Antimatter has been. I had thought they got one by now, but they just have not been able to get it done. Plasma Stripes were never able to get it done this season, but they do have a silver medal to their name, and it bought them a single event. They would have been eliminated alongside the Scientists, but it bought them time. A great role there for Team Antimatter, who would love their first medal. Once again, they have yet to stand atop a podium in any slot this season. 1 marble to go, and barring self-sabotage, they should be alright here, but we've seen how hard it can be. And they let the pressure get to their head for a brief moment. They have to hold on now. They will win off of differential despite the sabotage there. Obviously not intentional, but there's just such a nerve factor in this one. Team Antimatter win a scoreless game, and now they have a 3 and 4 chance, a 3/4 chance at medaling the Plasma Stripes. Their hopes are dashed. They didn't really have much hopes going into the final 2 events, but they would have loved a medal in this one. Hummingbirds and Lilac Lightning. These last 2 matches are integral. If one team wins between the top 2 and the other loses, the points would be pretty askew unless it was the Lilac Lightning who would win, because they are down by 9, so they would need some points to catch up in this event and hopefully take this into the final event. They completely missed the board and fall out with their first marble. Maybe that's a good sign, maybe not. You can't knock your own marble off if it doesn't enter the circle. But at the same time, you would have loved to at least keep them on the board for the chance that they could come back. Things are not looking good for them. Momentum arrested with the unconventional guard up top against the wall. A little bit of self-sabotage, a glance. And now I don't know if that's on the 1 or the 2, but Lilac Lightning need to score. It comes down to this. A hit there, and they freeze and they curl back in. And it doesn't matter if it's the 2 or the 3, because now the Hummingbirds are scoreless, and against all odds, the Lilac Lightning, well, they don't really play against the odds. The odds work for them in most cases, and here they do. They keep their hopes alive. Lilac Lightning fans know, however, the job is not finished. It all comes down to this 4th quarterfinal, the Ferocious Flames and the Twilight Tailors. If the Twilight Tailors win, they set up possibly the most high-pressure situation this tournament has ever seen, a semi-final with the championship on the line. If they lose, the gap will be a lot less heading into the final event. It depends what you want to see as a fan. Do you want to see them go head-to-head, or do you want to see them go head-to-head, potentially, in the final event? Currently, the Ferocious Flames are ahead here in this matchup. Again, the podium is wide open. It's practically waiting for them. Everybody ahead of them has fallen, and they are currently leading here. Will it hold? It won't until the final marble. They have one more chance. Can they take away the Twilight Tailors marble there? They do! But they curl back in the Twilight Tailors, and you'll never guess who's playing in the semifinals. It's the Twilight Tailors and the Lilac Lightning. Of course, there was a chance for self-sabotage there, but really, did you really think the Twilight Tailors were going to throw away a chance there? You've seen them all season long. You know that is not how they operate. There's teams that have it, there's teams that don't have it, and all season long, the Twilight Tailors have proven that they have it. What a situation they are going to end up in against the Lilac Lightning, where the winner could very well win the tournament. Of course, the final event would play a huge role in that, but Plasma Stripes, Wolf Warriors, Ferocious Flames, and Hummingbirds go no further. Good news for the teams up top, the Freezeburn, Sparkling Stars, Camos, they can still podium. Electrolytes and Team Antimatter. Everybody is going to be focusing on that final match, but you should pay attention to this one too, because both these teams have been sneakily good and could steal away a gold medal from either team, and even steal away a bronze medal. It's 1-1 so far. Almost thread the needle there and knocked out both marbles, but instead they miss both, and it remains 1-1. Electrolytes are closer. Bad performance there for Team Antimatter, unless they both curled in there, which it looked like they might have pulled off for a second. It's 1-0. Electrolytes have to hold the fort. They avoid their own marble and put their other one for Team Antimatter further back. One more chance for Antimatter. Can they curl back in and take the win? It looked for a second like they might, but it'll be the Electrolytes heading to the finals. They are guaranteed a silver at worst. Team Antimatter will have to play one more match for the bronze. Can they earn their first medal in the tournament? We'll have to find out. They will play the loser of the Clash of Titans up top, so it will not be easy, and it will not be easy for the Electrolytes to win overall in this event. But the chance is always there, Lilac Lightning and Twilight Tailors. The biggest head-to-head match this tournament has ever seen. And the Lilac Lightning roll one out again, but we've seen that they can come back with only 2 marbles. Every marble important here. And that's 2 wasted ones early. 1 apiece for each team. Good bounce back for Lilac Lightning. Can they hold it? They can. Just barely outside that 3-point zone. It's 2 currently. Unless from the top it turns out to be 3. I don't know. They almost lose one up top, the Twilight Tailors. But there's 1 for each team left to go. Lilac Lightning need a win here because they know what it means if they lose. The gap up top grows even larger. It's currently 9 points in favor of the Twilight Tailors. And it will continue to grow with that move. The marble in the back, it looked like it was a waste. It ends up being the winner in a clash of titans, a passing of the torch perhaps, from the Season 1 winners to the Twilight Tailors, who have another chance to stretch the lead even further. It is currently at 9 points, but if they win and Lilac Lightning gets 4th, it might be over. Either that or it would need to be a Lilac Lightning win in the last event and Twilight Tailors in dead last. So all they can do, Lilac Lightning can do, is hope for a bronze and for the Twilight Tailors to fumble every point possible. So for a single round of a single event, Lilac Lightning fans will become Electrolyte fans as they pray for a Twilight Tailor silver. Again, what a way to win. What a way to prove yourself in the highest danger situation. The most stressful possible. And now Team Antimatter are playing for their first medal. Lilac Lightning need to do everything in their power to cut that differential. They are very much alive, but they would love a bronze medal here. It would be their 5th bronze. To put into perspective the insanity of the dominance of these 2 teams, Lilac Lightning finished Season 1 as champions with 130 points. They entered this event 11, 2 events to play, with 121. Twilight Tailors have 130. They have tied the record for most points ever in a Trio Marble Championship with 2 events to go. It is insane, the level of competition we are seeing between these 2 teams. We've never seen it before, and I don't know if we'll ever see it again. Not just the dominance of one team, but the Twin Peaks. Lilac Lightning get their 5th bronze medal on the season. Team Antimatter falls just short once again. So Lilac Lightning fans hesitant to cheer because they know that the odds of them winning again are so low, they're so minuscule, but they also know that this team, if any team, could cut down that lead in the final event, they know it's them. They've proved it before. The fact that they were able to, win Season 1 and then come back to that level, they've surpassed with that bronze medal, they surpassed their Season 1 total. In Season 1 they had 4 golds. They started with 2 and ended with 2. So we know that they can do it because we've seen them do it before. Ending with 2 golds is a possibility. Obviously they can't get 2 golds here, but you know what I mean. They could win a gold in the final event and cut that lead. It'll be 14 points if the Twilight Tailors win here, but it'll be hard to do so if that Electrolyte marble stays on the button. Nobody has stayed on it so far. Everybody has gotten knocked off. That marble won't do it. 2 to go. Electrolytes could do Lilac Lightning a huge favor if they were to win this one, and they could also do the Twilight Tailors a huge favor if they knock their marble off the button, and they do. They still hold the lead by 3 points. They did before, and they do now. But will it matter? Curling out, and then the Twilight Tailor marble staying in. It'll be their 3rd gold as they try to hunt down the record for most goals in the season. They could still tie it. Lilac Lightning at 4 in Season 1. Twilight Tailors now sitting at 3 in Season 3. They've broken the points record. But why stop there? Every single event for the Twilight Tailors is a different level of excellence. And it's because of their overall consistency. Like I said, the Twilight Tailors have 3 gold medals. Lilac Lightning had 4 heading into this event. Twilight Tailors only had 2 and were still tied. They've just been way more consistent than any championship team we've seen before. Lilac Lightning themselves are the runner-up in that aspect because they have had a better season this year than last year, and they might not even win. They're down by 14 heading into the final event, so atop the podium, the Twilight Tailors are celebrating, but they cannot celebrate too hard yet. And so the stage is set. 2 teams can still win. 10 can podium. The Lilac Lightning are the underdogs by a mile, and I don't know if they've ever been the underdogs by that much in this series. Twilight Tailors have taken the league by storm and set on 150 points. Every point from here on out is record-breaking, but it is not over. Lilac Lightning will fight till the end, and the final event is the Winter Triathlon. We'll see you then.